Hello, this is a quick video. Yeah, welcome to the channel. This is a boom power update. I'm just going to sort of record all the stuff that happens with it. That's my great grandfather. Right, that's the plan and application documents. SCRN 24001. Land west and southwest of Gart, Tincaber Farm, Plean. And that's the screening opinion. I'm not exactly sure. Response to ECU, letter report. So you can go and have a look at that. It's on Stirling Council's website. Come on, will you bloody focus? Oh God, what's wrong with this? Sorry. That's too far away. Right, so what we're going to do is have a quick look at this conversation that I had. Now this is, what there seems to be is, this is Cowie, drone guy. He's uploaded something on Cowie page, right? So there seems to be a lot, so there's a lot of, this is drone guy. I know the factory puts out a bit of reek, but this is beyond a joke. Right, so there's the factory. It's one of these days where you could see, so basically I had a conversation with this guy, two men, and I want to record it just in case it disappears, but it gives you an indication as to the general attitude of some people, so what the general problem is that I see is that they are complaining about that factory. It's called West Fraser. It used to be called Caberboard, and it makes materials for buildings, probably houses and stuff, flooring and boards. Well, it's called Caberboard, probably, MDF type thing. That's what it makes. So it's got a big factory there. It's been there from the 70s, and people always complain. So there was a case in the High Court in Edinburgh where SEPA took them to court, and the High Court ruled in favour of the factory, that they weren't emitting lead into the atmosphere, or any more than what's above the allowed parameters. So there seems to be there's quite a lot of negativity. It's like what I'd call NIMBYism against this factory. Personally, I believe that we should be positive about the factory. It's providing jobs, Central Scotland, and it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I was going to move to Cowie, and I was at the opposite end of Cowie from where that factory was, and it didn't even occur to me about the factory. I didn't even think about it. I didn't see it being a problem. As it happens, I didn't move there, but I would have done. Maybe it's more of a nuisance if you live up, next to it. Okay, right, so mainly steam and small amount of lead. Toxic battery facility 1 mile from Plean is more concerning. So that's really basically what I'm saying, is that instead of campaigning against that factory, that drone guy, and he's not going to do nothing about it. He's a bit of I've had sort of discussions with him before on here, and he seems a bit of a shill, I suppose. Government, he's sort of creeping in with the council and stuff. Not a good idea. But anyway, I don't really know him, so good luck to him. So this guy, Arthur Moore, no amount of lead is acceptable. So I said, lead is in the water pipes, your mouth, your fillings, lead acid batteries, clues in the name. You want rid of them, do you? So he's saying there's no amount of lead is acceptable. So pumping more lead into the air is good for you. think not more unnecessary contamination. I understand you don't like West Fraser, but the fact has to be somewhere, and of course it does meet the environmental regulations. Perhaps you should lobby to change the regulations, Arthur says. The factory has had so many name changes over the years, vital for local employment, but not at any cost. I agree with you, that's why we have regulations, Arthur says, and all regulations are adhered to. Arthur says. No, I say, sorry. In this case, they have been to court. The court found in their favour. I'm sure the court would have penalised them if they failed to meet the current regulations. But compared to the battery storage development, this is a very minor matter. Then Davy Heathcote steps in. As does the battery storage facility at Plean need to be somewhere. I bet this will be less polluting than the factory. Both of them shouldn't be on a residential doorstep. I say, 2 battery storage facilities have already caught fire, that we know of, scarred the land for thousands of years. One closed the freeway for several days. So no, they are not safe. If the army wanted to store 100 tons of low-grade explosive 1 mile from Plean, it would be refused. These are prime targets for terrorists. Only because it's green, it's okay. Just because the government have decided to choose the most expensive and disruptive route to net zero doesn't mean we shouldn't object. Rolls-Royce could be fitting zero-carbon small modular reactors at existing infrastructure sites within 5 years, producing cheap electricity. So no, they are a completely unnecessary folly. The West Fraser factory is already there, has been since the 70s. Therefore, I would support its continuation, as it provides jobs and money for central Scotland, and is unlikely to do much environmental damage or burst into flames, killing your children with smoke inhalation, destroyed lungs. So that was really like quite a lot of the main key points that I've formulated over the last few days, and basically I just put them all together in that one answer, and it covers just about everything in there. So he says, Davy says, so Arthur sort of stepped out of it. Oh, what the hell. How many have died over the years because of the factory? He says, because of the factory, and how many more will... Don't make it okay just because it's been there for years, don't you think? As I said to Davy, are there any clusters of death or serious health issues in that area that would back up your story? Because if there are, you have a case. If there aren't, you don't have a case. So this is like the sort of thing where people keep complaining about things like that factory, and they actually don't have any evidence. So in the case of the battery storage facility, we do have evidence because we know what it is that they're attempting to put in these containers as toxic chemicals, and we also know that they have already caught fire. They have caught fire in Australia and America. The battery storage facility is an actual threat, direct threat to you and your children right now, and when it goes up in flames, it's like burning plastic. So what that means is that really breathing in just one, breathing in any of it is enough to damage your lungs for life. Do you know this could damage your genetics, of children. Do you know how dangerous this is? It's insanely dangerous. And all the arguments about it are, there's arguments for that other things are dangerous as well. But to put these things a mile from where people live is it's insane, right? But I'll try and stick to the facts, right? So he's saying that both are a threat to public health. I don't really see, the factory... See, what I would say to this guy, Davy, and Arthur, is that... I knew a guy that lived in a cave years ago. Lou's his name. He lived in a cave. He tried to. And I went and stayed in this cave with him. I went and sat in this cave, Aberdeenshire. And he was going back to nature. He had a Morris Minor. He had a car, but it was a Morris Minor. And he was sort of going against, he wasn't paying road tax. He was going against the system sort of thing. And I thought about it. This is brilliant, staying in the cave. And I thought, no, it's not. It's fucking terrible. So, modern life has factories, you're going to get a bit of pollution, and it's like, so that has to be maintained in a way that we can live with. So it doesn't mean to say you can go and put battery facilities in a field just outside Plean, right? That's not a good idea. But having a factory in Cowie is a good idea. Well, it's there already. Do you want to shut it down? Well, right, okay. So that says, the newer houses were built after the factory was built. So you've got some responsibility for moving there. So that is kind of like, if you move to Cowie or Plean and you live near that factory, it's kind of unreasonable to expect them to shut it down, really, I think. Is what they're really saying. You can't blame that on the factory. When the battery storage facility bursts into flames, it will devastate the whole area, and you could think of it, the uncontrolled burning of 100 tons of plastics into the air. So I'm just spelling it out here to these. I don't know if they're listening or paying attention, but that battery thing, that's what will happen when it catches fire. It's going to ruin this whole area. You're only one-sided about who pollutes, pal, he says, right? So I say, I understand you don't, right? So it's about the lead. Lead is in the water, pipes from mouthfills, lead, acid batteries. Clues in name. You want rid of them, do you? I understand you don't like West Fraser, but the factory has to be somewhere. Of course it does meet the environmental regulations. Perhaps you should lobby to change the regulations. In this case, they would have been to court. The court found in their favour. I'm sure the court would have penalised them if they failed to meet the current regulations. But compared to the battery storage development, this is a very minor matter. I am not for the factory. I've said above, it is there already and it provides jobs in central Scotland. Proven to not any real relevant immediate danger. To not be any real immediate danger. We have covered most of this in the thread. If you know otherwise, then great, get on with it. You want the factory closed, good for you, go for it. Or move, probably. Move the jobs abroad, perhaps. That's what they do with everything in this country. So I said to him, you're only one-sided about who pollutes, pal. That doesn't really make any sense. When I'm trying to stop a massive pollution risk, death and injury, you worry about a small amount of lead. As I said to Arthur, why not go get the regulations tightened up if you're not happy about the court outcome? Clearly you want rid of the factory. I don't agree with that when we are currently destroying industry and infrastructure, fast rate of knots in Scotland, the rest of UK, outsourcing everything to China or India whilst our social problems rise. For me personally, I'm not that bothered. Why don't you stand outside the factory calling for it to be shut down? But the battery facility is a definite, deliberate, dangerous source of imminent death and pollution. There are no circumstances should any of us, whether we have children or not, take that risk. So then he says, per one of your previous comments, the factory has to be sown and all environmental regulations would be addressed. Maybe go and glue yourself to the field where it's going if you're not happy, eh? So I said, it doesn't matter where it is. It shouldn't be anywhere. Completely unnecessary. However, the construction plans for this type of facility are insufficient to guarantee safety. So regardless of how daft I think the plan is, it still has to be safe, just like West Fraser. Safe, you're having a laugh, says Davy. The factory can't even look after its own employees. Tell me again how many have been killed on its premises. Profits before health and safety, or us, Joe Public. Why is it unnecessary when it's future infrastructure for Scotland and not outsource it to China as you say? I don't know what he means by that. Why is it unnecessary when it's future infrastructure for Scotland? I don't know how many have been killed in that factory. I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. You know, you occasionally get people getting killed in factories, you know. accidents do happen, sadly. Yeah, I agree with you. These companies need brought to account. However, these battery storage facilities are a significant threat to you and your family. In a pyramid of threats, these battery storage facilities are at the top. So Davy says, not much difference than a forecourt full of electric vehicles. And they're every few miles apart now. Well, they're a danger as well, but what I said is, a car has 800 kilograms of batteries. The battery storage units are built into a container-sized vessel and weigh 25 tons. So Davey hasn't answered. He's got kids, you know. I don't know what his angle is. I don't know why, but, you know, I don't know what his angle is. You know, I think it's sad what he's doing to his kids. I think it's he's putting them in danger by promoting this. I think it's terrible, but it's a Grenfell moment all over again. You know, so I said I'm surprised local residents would even consider having this highly complex chemical facility close to them. Incidents in other parts of the world would indicate this could be a problem. Close attention needs to be paid to segregating each of the containers with firewalls to stop more than one container lighting and leading to all the others lighting. I don't know what the hell's going on with this guy, you know. It's his opinion, I suppose, right? It looks like he lives in Plean or Cowie. It's actually insane. It really is. That he's actually... I mean, people have a right to their opinion. So that was a video I did when I was up there. So you can see what it is. There's been a few videos, so I'll just keep an update on it, that's all. I don't think this is at all funny. You know what I mean?
We need to protect and restore nature.
Oh jeez.
With the impact
This is sort
of
of
climate
young
change
lasses we're
and 1
getting.
in 9 species at risk of extinction in Scotland, we need to act now. But restoring nature needs money. The Scottish Government has said it will bring in legal targets to restore our natural...
See, like that young lassie there, they're all brainwashed. They're actually bright enough and everything, but they've just been fed that shit for years. So, we need to restore nature and us. Meanwhile, they're building battery storage facilities and filling the place with concrete and toxic fumes, which she will not speak out about that, will she? Why did that guy laugh anyway?
We need to protect and restore nature. With the impact of climate change and 1 in 9 species at risk of extinction in Scotland, we need to act now.
Right.
But restoring nature needs money. The Scottish Government has said it will bring in legal targets to restore our natural environment. But earlier this year, they cut £5 million from the budget that's supposed to achieve this.
See, like, the green communists are set to destroy our farmland. Well, they are. Okay, so I think that'll do that. That's an update. Thanks for watching. Bye.